Yeah, 2005. I will say one thing. There's one thing I haven't brought up in 2005 yet, and it's a big thing. And some of you guys might even know about this from hearing about it on JealousGuy, because we're coming up on JealousGuy here pretty soon. 2005 is the year that I met DB, not DD, DB. I won't say her real name because, once again, I'll probably end up saying it by accident at some point. Anyway, well, Pick and Save hired her as the other donut fryer. And when she first started there, oh man, like, she and I hit it off straight away. And I had gotten so used to being around, I don't know, just everyone in Pick and Save was, they were great people. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's just they didn't find me that interesting because I never spoke. And some people can deal with that, and some people can't. But Deb was one of the, well, there you go, I just said her name, shit. Fine, okay, her name is Deb. I'll just say Deb. Besides, it's like, you know, it's not a coincidence, one of my dad's ex-wives was named Deb, and then this lady was named Deb, too. Anyway, well, she and I hit it off. She was a lot older than me, though. I was like 30 at the time, and she was about 50. Well, we were friends. Like, we just hit it off straight away. She talked to me all the time. She was always asking me questions about myself and trying to learn more about me and who I was, and I was flattered by that, you know, because I never seen someone express so much interest in me in a long time. So it was awesome. The only problem is, well, she was one of these people who really loved money and just couldn't get enough of it. And almost like within the first week of us working together, she asked if she could borrow $20. And at the time, I thought, you know, it's no big deal. I just handed it over to her. And the week after that, you know, it was something else. Then she needed $100. The week after that, another week goes by, another month or so. Then she tells me, you know, her power's about to go out, about to get cut out. So she needs $200 to get that turned back on. You know, and then she tells me her landlord is on her case because she's 3 months behind on the rent. She needs $350 to pay this guy out. So anyway, you know, and there was just one thing after another with her. And she never seemed to run out of excuses. And every single time, she had me convinced. And if it weren't for the fact that we got along so good, I don't know how far I would have let that go. But the fact that she treated me like a person and not like some shy person who's, you know, who has nothing to contribute to the world or nothing that, I don't know. I mean, I make it sound like it's other people's fault that I don't contribute anything, and I know it's not. I know it's not. But she was one of those people who was willing to just fight through it and get to me, you know, and make me speak and make me speak up, make me talk, ask me questions, and keep the conversation going, you know. And a lot of people, I guess these days, especially with the internet, don't want to do that, you know, so I don't know. But anyway, but if it weren't for that, I mean, if it weren't for her, you know, making me feel so good about myself, I don't know, I probably would have stopped a lot sooner, but no. I ended up bumming money from her, and she would do just all these different things. She also loves to go to the casino, and oh boy, I tell you, it's like the only thing she ever wanted to do. Every single time I went to her place, she'd have the slot machines up on her computer. She'd be going to these real-life casinos that take real money online and trying to win money online by playing those casinos. And then, you know, she did some dirty stuff, actually, in retrospect. She had, like, one time her kids got birthday cards in the mail. She had 3 kids, and her oldest one got a birthday card in the mail one day, and whoever it was that had sent in the card also sent in $20 in the card. She takes the $20 out of her son's birthday card to put towards her gambling online. And she was like totally shameless about it. She had no problem telling me that's what she was doing. I was like, are you serious? Like, I don't even know if he knew that he had gotten money in that card. So she just opened it up and took the money right out. I'm telling you. Now, looking on that now, it's like I should have known at that point that, like, I was going to have to call this off or something. The problem is, well, she was my coworker, and I couldn't exactly get away from her. Well, it didn't take long. I mean, it was only a matter of months before she eventually quit Pick and Save because she couldn't handle it. And so, you know, eventually she went off and got a job at Days Inn and worked like 2 days a week there for a while. And the Days Inn that she worked at, geez, I don't even know what was going on there, because her paychecks that she got from Days Inn, they were personal checks. Like, I feel like this must have been somebody running this Days Inn who actually bought the franchise or something? Like, aren't you supposed to have like an official business check that you give to your employees, not like a personal check? Like, the only reason I can imagine that you would want to pay your employees with personal checks would be because you're not actually reporting this income, whatever you're making, as a business. Because if you had a business paycheck, you'd have to report that, wouldn't you? Or something? I mean, I don't know. I actually run into this later with some Airbnb. Anyway, you know, never mind. So that's way ahead of myself here. But anyway, that was only just like last year too. Anyway, wow. Yeah. So, man, I went back and forth with her, and eventually her daughter moved up because her daughter was living with her dad. Well, here's the thing. Here's the other thing with her situation that I didn't point out. Her husband, with whom she had those 3 kids, he basically abandoned them. He was supposed to be paying her child support, but he wasn't. And eventually, sometime in 2006, he passed away. It ended up being like $800 for each kid, and then another $800 for her. So $3,200 a month, basically, she was bringing in from that. And that was when she finally stopped borrowing money from me, was when she started getting that in. But at that point, she had already borrowed about $3,000 from me total. And she'd also gotten me to co-sign on her daughter's car loan because, well, you know. And at that point, I'd never done anything like that before. I didn't realize at that time in my life that co-signing was as big of a mistake as it was. I mean, depending on who the person is, how much you trust them and all, I guess. I'm going to actually go over here. So, I don't want to be racing down these roads at 80 miles an hour. I'm done with that today. I just don't feel like doing that today. Anyway, so yeah, I was co-signed on that loan with her for what seemed like forever. And eventually, like I said, she did start making her own payments. But there was, man, for a long time there, I was stuck making the payments myself. And I wasn't exactly making that much money. I mean, I was working at Pick and Save. I was making $1,200 a month, basically. After taxes, it was about $1,200 a month. It's like $300 a week, 4 weeks a month. So, you know, you do the math. And, you know, it went through a spell there where every single time there were 5 Fridays in a month, that's when she would call. You know, she'd start calling and telling me about her stories, her sob stories about whatever. It's ridiculous. And in a way, I do feel bad for her because of her ex-husband abandoning them and everything, but still. You know, one of the reasons I didn't want to drive to Atlanta, I did say this on a vlog, is I didn't want to do it because of the mountains, but, y'all, there was just as many mountains driving to Maryland as there would be driving to Atlanta, isn't there? It's enough to make me think that maybe I will drive to Atlanta next time we go. I don't know. Because this ain't that bad. Yeah, the whole thing was kind of a pain in the butt, but, you know, we got through it. The car got paid off eventually at some point. I don't even know when it happened, but it did. But even now, when I go to Credit Karma to, you know, look at my credit, it's bad because of that whole thing with that car loan. That stuff is still on my record, late payments. It's up to 2 months late, you know. There was at least one time that she told me straight out she'd made the payment, and then it turned out she hadn't. There's both of them lied to me so many times, you know. And it's like, it's hard to talk about because one of them is still friends with me on Facebook. God knows if she's watching, I don't know. Whatever, yeah. I can't really change it now. I mean, what are you gonna do, you know? It's like, whatever. The thing is, you know, in spite of all that, I still look back on the time I had with him fondly because we actually had good times. For one thing, her kids were actually into video games, which kind of helped because I was about as far away from video games as I'd ever been at this point. And seeing her kids playing video games, that might have been part of what sparked me into starting to get back into them. I do remember that when I was with her at the store one day, I saw Four Swords Adventure, Zelda, on the shelf at Best Buy. And at the time, I didn't realize what it was. I thought it was like a new Zelda game, like the next one after Wind Waker. I was like, holy crap, how did I not know that this existed? And I was freaking out, so I bought the game and I took it home. Then when I saw what it was, I realized it wasn't actually an official Zelda game, but it was still fun. I still played it. But then eventually I was like, okay, I think it might have been then that I realized, well, if you don't know what the new Zelda game is when you see it, then that really shows you just how out of touch you are with video games, Tim. Yeah, so eventually I read up and found out about Twilight Princess and all that, but anyway, it would still be another year or so before I really got back into video games again. But that did actually make me get my GameCube out and set it up, you know, that Zelda 4 Sword, so that was good. But yeah. And that pretty much does it for 2005. The only other thing I did, well, I did tell you that I got the video camera at Get It Now like a stupid head. So I had a lot of fun with that video camera. Making videos, doing shit, whatever. Yeah. 2006 is like, you know, it's one of those years that ends in 6, so historically those years are not very interesting for me. But, you know, the only thing that I can really remember about 2006 was that was when Metroid Prime 2, that's when I played that. Because I was doing a lot of vlogs with my video camera and making tapes less and less, like regular audio tapes, you know. So at this point, I pretty much stopped making regular tapes the way I used to and started doing like the portable tapes and the portable micro, you know, those little micro recorders that you pick up that you can hold in your hand. It's really tiny tapes. They're like an inch by 1 inch wide. An inch by 1 inch wide. That made a lot of sense. But yeah, it was, I used to carry around one of those. And the quality on those tapes is horrendous, especially when I drove in the car. Like, I hate the car tapes. Those are the worst ones because you can hardly tell what I'm saying. So you can't hear me over the car, and it's just so annoying to listen to those. But, you know, back then, I didn't care. It was like I had my recorder. I was going to make me a tape if I wanted to. If I wanted to make a tape while driving, I was going to do that. And so I got all these tapes of me in the car. And it's just, seriously. But anyway. But yeah, that was the only kind of tapes I was really making anymore. Otherwise, I was doing it all on the video camera. Because I couldn't tell you how many times I'd wished in the past that I'd had video forms of some of the tapes that I'd made. Like, I wish back in January 27th that I had a, like, I don't know, that I could see what I was doing. See, we're going uphill now. I don't know why it is that I'm the only one that's affected by these hills. Everyone else just keeps going and whatever, you know. Alright, anyway. Let's get over here and y'all can just go on by. I guess I should take this chair out of the back of my car, really. Because it's still sitting back there. I meant to take it to the dumpster and I never did. So that's putting weight down back there. Anyway, well. Yeah, it's like I said, 2006. The only thing I did for almost all of 2006 was play Dead Awaken. And I was just, it was getting to a point on that game, they were adding stuff to it. And so, like, if you wanted to keep up with the rest of the players, you had to get on this game and basically do all your mall runs and your graveyard runs. Because you would make a certain amount of money. Oh, shoot. Okay, I'm gonna need to go right here. Yeah, so, like, in this game, like, you would have, you know, a certain set things that you had to come in and do. Like, you know how a lot of games nowadays, you come and you log in and you get your daily... Okay, I got you. Like these games, you'd log in and, you know, get your daily bonus, play 1 or 2 games to get your quota of whatever, you know, and then you'd stop and you'd go about your day. Well, Dead Awaken, like, he had this, the way that game was designed, there was, you know, you had to do your graveyard every day and dig up all 200 graves. And then you'd have to go to the mall and kill a bunch of zombies there. And, like, each mall run would have, you know, like, say 50 zombies you'd have to kill or something like that. And most of the time, no, that's not it. So most of the time, you know, some of the zombies would take like 5 or 6 clicks to actually kill them.
Keep to the right and follow I-79 toward Washington.
Alright, hey, we're going to Washington, you guys. You know, I remember the Rockies being a little rockier than this. That John Denver's full of shit, man. So a lot of times I just sit there and click the mouse, like non-stop, clicking these zombies over and over again. And if you click them enough times, you know, then the next zombie would enter the square next to you, and you just keep clicking, do damage on that one, and hopefully they wouldn't kill you.
Please follow the current road for 45 miles.
Alright, 45 miles. Sounds good. So I don't have to think about turning at any point here. Yeah, you usually don't in these drives, man. Look at this. These mountains are so huge. Lord, man. There were mountains in Pennsylvania. Jeez. Yeah, so, yeah, Dead Awaken, it was a pain in the ass, because all told, you'd probably end up spending 2 or 3 hours there every day just doing all that crap. But you had to do it, you know, because if you didn't make your money for the day, you weren't keeping up with the other players, because you need to spend that money on upgrades or weapons, or give it to your mob so that they could, you know, get their upgrades, so your mob could stay in first place, because my mob was up there right in first place. And, but what people started doing was doing these things where they merge mobs together. Eventually that became, you know, what determined which mob was in first place, was who had the most players, you know. So if you had like 50 players in your mob, and the mob right behind you had 40 players, and they merged with another mob that had 20 players, now they got 60 players. It's like, it was annoying, you know, because it's like, stop merging, you know. Like, we could have merged too, and maybe we actually did. I don't remember. I don't even care at this point. But eventually what happened there is, I'll go ahead and finish that story, because that story finishes in 2007. Eventually, it got to the point where people were just, I guess, so desperate to, you know, to make their mark in this game, that they started, like, offering real money, actual real money to players who were in a position of power in the game, to send them some of the in-game money. And I guess that I've heard that people still do that, like in RuneScape and some other games. They sell in-game money for real cash. But anyway, well, that was against the rules of Dead Awaken, so I had a couple of people send me, like, money. It ended up being maybe $400 or $500 total is all I made from it, but it was something. Eventually I got caught, and I got banned from the game for doing that, for accepting a real life for in-game stuff. So, yeah. And I'm basically banned until the year 2101. So, seeing that date there on the game kind of made me realize how mortal I was. You know, that I wasn't going to be there by the time my account got unbanned, so whatever. But right around the same time that happened, though, it was discovered that the owner of the game had actually accepted a bribe to give someone stats, like to up their stats in the game for real life money. Yeah, so so I don't feel bad about quitting, because I basically stopped playing at that point. I was like, okay, I'm done with this. Talk about a double standard, you know. Anyway, I don't even know if anybody still hangs out there or still plays that thing. That's all I did for 2006, that whole year. I'm telling you, I just played that game. I can't even think of any other stuff I did. Like, I didn't go take walks or anything. I might have taken walks once in a while. Well, no, though. 2006 was when I started the JealousGuy channel, right? Is that not when I started, or did I start that in 2005? I don't even remember. Whatever the oldest video is that's on JealousGuy right now, it's not the first video that I posted on that channel. The first video I posted on that channel, I believe, was a music video to Nervous in the Alley by Smash Mouth. You know, I think that was 2006. Because I didn't get the camera until 2005, right? And I didn't find out about YouTube until like a year later. But yeah, YouTube, I found out about YouTube in 2006, and I started my channel, JealousGuy. At some point then, I guess it was like May. I didn't really know what to do. I just filmed myself talking, you know. Well, the thing is, back then, I didn't know how to edit videos. I didn't know how to do it. Like, there was one video that my sister made where she actually cut things from it, you know? And I remember thinking it was like the greatest video ever, because I was like, oh my god, look at these cuts, you know? Holy crap, she's cutting away and like jumping to all the interesting parts and cutting out all the boring shite. See, I couldn't do that for the longest time. If I wanted to make a 9-minute video and talk about something, I had to make, oh look at this, Pennsylvania. Welcome to Pennsylvania, y'all. But yeah, if I wanted to make a vlog for 9 minutes, I had to talk for that 9 minutes, and I wasn't able, you know, to cut. I wasn't able to cut my videos because I didn't know how to. So often what would happen is I'd ended up making videos, I'd end up doing 10 or 20 takes of videos. So a lot of times I was just never happy with what I got, so I just quit. But what would usually happen is by the time I got to the 4th or 5th take, I'd be so sick of talking about whatever it was I was trying to talk about that I would just lose my, you know, motivation, and so I'd end up with nothing. But there were a lot of days I lost sleep because I kept trying and trying to get a good take, and I just couldn't do it. You know, I'd catch myself, I don't know, just either not saying anything or saying something I didn't mean, or drifting off the subject. That was my big thing. It's like a lot of times I just couldn't stay, you know, on topic. I was always rambling and stuff, you know, and so I'd never be able to get what I wanted to say in 9 minutes. And it's like, good Lord, you know, it's like, dude, if you can't get your point across in 9 minutes, you got problems. I don't know, but seriously, though. Yeah. Back then, there was the time limit. It was like 10 minutes. That was all. I still remember one day when I did the super vlog, it was like 10 minutes and 5 seconds. Because I discovered at that point that the time limit was actually 11 minutes, not 10. So I did like this super vlog where it was 10 minutes and 5 seconds. Oh, that was crazy. That one might still be up, I don't know, but whatever it is, I'm talking about it. I'm not exactly anxious for people to go see those videos, because I don't even remember what I said in half of them, and they're probably mostly crap. It's just me driving to Walmart doing some crap. And there's always been a part of me that's a little, you know, immature, I guess. I mean, I know that because I just, the whole fart humor thing, you know. But, you know, I tend to be extremely, you know, like, opinionated about some things. I'm not sure if I'm right, or if I have a point, or if I'm not. You know, it's just like, it's just a lot of weird stuff going through my head at that point in life, you know. Anyway, well, yeah, so that was that. That was the birth of JealousGuy. It was 2006. So I can't say that 2006 was entirely a pointless year. Not if that. You know, because I remember, like, I was starting to gain a few subscribers here, like 100, 200, and it was kind of crazy. And I started making friends, and, you know, I had a lot of friends, like, let me see. There was one lady, I can't remember what her first name was, and she changed her name to Passionate Kisses at some point. So it was her. Or there was Left of Center 7 was another one. She was really cool. Her real name was Holly. I don't know, I think she's still around, actually. I think I've seen her on Facebook now and then, here and there. Let me see, there was like Blade 186 or something. At the time, he had like 400 subscribers, and I remember thinking, holy crap, I'm never going to catch up to him. That was crazy. He was like some British dude. And he talked about stuff. He got a little bit involved in like drama and stuff like that, or whatever. There was Not So Normal. He was like a deeper sort of, you know, something. I don't remember. It's so hard to remember. There's Alley Cat. She claimed to have a crush on me for a while, and that was awkward. It was cool. She was cool, but it was awkward. I don't know. Just, you know, I tried this whole online relationships thing before, and I wasn't exactly at a point in my life where I was anxious to jump into something like that. It was that older guy. Up Down Mostly. Yeah, that guy was cool. He mostly just did regular old vlogs talking about nothing or driving around. There was one vlog I saw where he was driving around in Texas. And I remember thinking, how cool is this, you know, that I can watch a video of somebody, you know, that I can see what roads look like in Texas. I can see what a shopping center looks like in Texas. I mean, you couldn't just do that on TV. Like, you could watch maybe some sort of America's Funniest Home Videos or something and hope to see one in the background. I mean, I don't know. like, that was the great thing about YouTube, is that you could just see the world. You could see what everyday life was like. You weren't just seeing some, you know, manufactured version of it. People doing some special crap, you know, or whatever. You just saw everyday people living their everyday lives, and you realize that things aren't so different out there, you know, it's all kind of basically just the same thing. But there's something beautiful about it. There was something beautiful about just being able to ride in a car with someone from Texas and just see Texas for a little while. For a couple of minutes, you know, just go to Texas, look around and see what life is like out there, you know. That was awesome. To me, that was just so awesome. I liked him. There was some sort of scandal about him being a pedophile that went on, that came around later. So that ended up ruining YouTube for him, I think, because then it got to a point where that was like all he talked about, and it was kind of sad. I don't know if he ever got past that. It's been so long. I don't know if any of these channels are even still up. But yeah, because I had like one video I called Souls that where I listed like all my friends, you know, little pictures of them. So that was when I had just started learning how to use Windows Movie Maker. I was able to make like a slideshow of all my friends and put captions of who they were and stuff. And I set it to the song Souls by NintendoCapriSun. I'm not sure how you say her name, but man, that song is so good. Like, I've never heard a happier song, I think, in my life than that one. So, alright, I see you want to get around here. Alright. So, yeah. There was one person, I remember one person specifically that I put in that slideshow that I didn't actually know at all, or she didn't know me anyway. And her name was Emelina. I kind of had a crush on her for a while, but yeah, that basically went nowhere with it. So yeah, well, that's 2006 for you right there. I don't know what else to really, like, I wish I could think of more people. There were so many people. There was this thing that went around on YouTube where people wrote messages on the palm of their hands, and, you know, and then just showed their hand to the world. So each video was like maybe 10 seconds long, and it would just show a person writing whatever message they wanted to write on the palm of their hand, showing their palm of their hand to the camera, and then that was the entire video. So that was the thing that we did for a while. And the Winecone did his own version of it, and it was like really hilarious. I know he's still around. I think these days, Higa's way more popular than he is, though. Higa's doing pretty good for himself, considering that, you know, so much time has gone by, you know. Like most of the other big YouTubers, like Shane Dawson and Jenna Marbles and iJustine, like, you don't hear about them anymore, but I guess you don't really hear about Higa either. So I don't know at what point we're going to get into 2007 here. 2007 is the last year that I made tapes. It was the year that I officially just quit making tapes. Audio tapes, that is. I still continued on with the videotapes, but 2007 is when I stopped making audio tapes. So the last tapes that I've got, the latest ones, are from 2007. I have a couple of them from where I was playing Mega Man X2 in the background for the first time, you know. And, wow. You wouldn't know it. I was driving 80 miles an hour right now, would you? But yeah, I have one tape that I distinctly remember. I don't want to play this one, but I know my future self is probably going to do it. January of 2007, there was this one morning, I was driving into work, and I was in the most foul mood. Like, I just did not want to be there. I did not want to be doing it. And a lot, you know, for all the complaining that I've done about work, I mean, I got so many tapes of me just sitting there rattling off non-stop about how much I don't want to do it, about how nobody knows me, nobody cares about me. Everyone's inviting themselves, you know, everyone's inviting each other out to these parties and leaving me out of it. There was even one time that somebody who used to work there went and, like, left flowers for everybody. And they left flowers for every single person in my department except for me. And I was like, oh, well, big surprise. She probably figures I just wouldn't care, wouldn't notice, you know. that's just the kind of person I am, you know. Anyway, well, whatever. That was a long time ago. I do have a tape about that somewhere. I haven't heard it yet, but that was 2007, I believe, was when that happened. But anyway, 2007, man. I think 2007 was a pretty good year, though, because that's when things started to get really interesting. We're getting so close now, you know, to NintendoCapriSun here. 2007 wasn't really that much different from 2006. Like, I was still playing Dead Awaken, and still freaking Dead Awaken. But, you know, JealousGuy was getting more popular, and I was starting to get more ambitious with my videos, and I started making videos of myself, like, talking to my future self, or, like, doing Lost reviews. I was doing those. That was really exciting, because that was, like, the end of Season 3. That was also the year I did my Lost, like I said, the aforementioned Lost fanfic. Yeah, but anyway, okay, so 2007. 2007 is also the year that Dad started his own karaoke business. Because, like, you know, we had gone to karaoke many times, but we never really had our own, you know, like, he'd always had his own sets of equipment and stuff, but he never really got the chance to do, like, his own show. And so he started his own show, Rising Star Entertainment. Now, I don't know if the channel still exists, but I started a channel called Rising Star Nina, in which I put a few of the videos up of us singing at Dad's show. So there's one video of me. There's only one of me, and it's not very good because I didn't have anybody to hold the camera. All the other ones I held the camera so I could do zoom-ins on their faces and stuff as they sang. There's this one guy. What was the guy that sang that Eagle song, or was it Dead or Alive? I can't remember. I got my Aunt Lorinda singing Spirit in the Sky was one of them. I can't even remember, like, most of them. Some girl sang some Fiona Apple song. Mary sang something that probably isn't on there. But I don't know if that channel's still there, but that's another channel that has stuff from my life on it, if you didn't know. Which I bet a lot of you didn't, actually, because I hardly ever bring it up. I haven't brought it up in, like, at least 5 years, I think. But, yeah, Rising Star Nina is the channel. There's not much there. There's, like, 9 videos or whatever. But, yeah, so, 3.7 miles. We're already up to our next changeover here. Man. Yeah, like I said, 2007, it was a pretty good year. But, I was talking about that tape from January. That's, shoot. I was in the worst mood and I didn't want to go to work. The thing is, though, the only reason I brought up that tape is because when I went back and listened to that, it actually scared me a little bit. Like, I don't usually get scared by the sound of my own voice, but the way I sounded on this tape actually scared me. Like, it scared me how upset I was. Because I had gotten so used to hearing myself complain about work and how I didn't want to go and all this crap and blah, blah, blah. But never was it more genuine than it was on this tape, I'm telling you.
You know, physically, it wouldn't take any effort at all to post a resume online, and your dreams could probably come true from that. You know, it's just like playing the lottery, but you get to do it for free. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you want to do it? I mean, you have every reason in the world to. You know, you have every reason in the world to. One of those reasons is the fact you're sitting in this car right now. You know, at 1:45 in the morning, that's a reason. You know, if that's not a good reason, I don't know what is then, you know. What is it that's going to take it? You know, what's it going to take for you to actually do something? I mean, what's it going to take? I'm asking you that question, Tim. You up there in the future, I'm asking you that. I want to know, what's it going to take? What is it going to take? What's it going to take for you to put a resume on Monster.com? Are you going to have to get fired or what? You know? I don't know. What's it going to take? Well, how drastic does it have to get before you finally do something about it? You sit here and complain about it, but you never do anything. And I'm so sick of myself, you know? I'm sick of, you know, the fact that I've dealt with this all this time. I'm still doing it, you know, after 6 years, I'm still doing it. And there must be something that's keeping me there, so what is it, you know? You want to talk about how it's the lack of a better choice? Because you've had other choices. You've had other options, you know. Well, right now you have one other option. To post a resume on Monster.com. I guess I just always assumed that, you know, even if I did that, nothing would happen, you know, nobody would ever call. You know, if you're listening to, say, 5 years from now and you're still working in that fucking shithole, well, God help you. I mean, if you go into the bathroom and you sit on the toilet and you take a crap, you're not just going to stand there in the bathroom and smell it. You're not going to want to do that. Most people that I know wouldn't want to do that. I don't care if you've just been eating roses, you know, and you think, I don't care if you think your shit smells good. The point is you don't stay in there and smell it, because you have other things in your life you'd rather be doing. You know, you're not like that Donald Duck in that cartoon where you just turn on the music and then just sit there, you know, and let it blast in your face. You want to be accomplishing something. You know, that's just one of my traits, that I can't just sit back and enjoy things as they are. I've always got to be accomplishing something. And that's because I ain't happy with what I've done in my life, you know. I feel like maybe if I did accomplish something, people would notice me, and then I could, you know, maybe I'd have some friends, but I wouldn't have to be so freaking lonely all the time, you know. Well, I'm sick of this, you know. Fucking sick of it! I mean, come on, boy! Do something! You hate it so much, then do something! What's your problem? You know, I don't want to spend an hour of my day off, you know, working on a resume to post online, something that I don't want to do. No matter how much it might help me, I don't want to do that. In the moment, I don't. And I especially don't want to end up finishing something like that, and then looking at the clock and realizing I'm an hour close to coming back here again. That I could have enjoyed myself for that hour, but no, now I'm an hour close to going back to work again. I'm sick of logging in there because I don't belong here. I don't want to do this, man. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be doing this right now. I want to turn around and go back home. I want to do that. Please, please. So give me something here. I mean, come on. Nobody else is going to do this for you. Give me something. I don't want to be doing this right now. I don't. So please do something for me, please. Come on, man. I'm so sick of this. I don't want to be doing this right now.
And after hearing that, I think was when I realized that, like, if I didn't do something pretty soon here, like, it was all going to be over. But I didn't know what I was going to do, though, you know? I didn't know what I was going to do. As far as I knew, I was going to be there for the rest of my life. Because there was nothing else was ever going to happen, you know? Nothing else was ever going to come up. There was nothing that was ever going to save me. I wasn't going to win the lottery. I wasn't going to meet some rich person, you know, move in with them or whatever. So, I don't know. But anyway. Yeah. So, and at the time, in 2007, I believe I was still using MySpace a lot. Yeah, I was using MySpace. And I had a little bit of a vlog going there. I don't know if that's even still up.
Prepare to keep to the right.
Yep, thanks. So I'm trying to think, oh geez, it was melting out into the road, man. But I remember this one video, this one vlog, or no, this one blog, this one diary post on MySpace that I did. The first thing I said in that post was, video games rock, man. That's what I said. It's a stupid, I know it sounds stupid, but I think it's such a generic, simple thing to say. But it's like, I said it because it's like I was realizing at that point that, hey, you know, I need to get back into video games again.
In 3/4 of a mile, please keep to the right and follow I-70 toward Washington, Pennsylvania.
You got it. But after making that MySpace post, it's like I realized I needed to get back into video games. I just needed to do it, you know? So right around then I started looking for a Wii. Because I'd heard about Mario Galaxy, and I remember being pretty much I remember being pretty blown away by what I saw there. The whole idea of walking on planets and walking upside down. And just like, it was crazy. It was crazy some of the shit I was seeing. And I was ready to play that game, but I tell you. But every time I would go out and look for a Wii, you know, anytime I was out, I would look for one, and I wouldn't see it. I had the money sitting right there in my account, like, you know, it wasn't much, but it was enough to get a Wii. I could have done it, but they were always sold out, and I just couldn't find them. Eventually, I did get one, and the way I did it was by going to Best Buy on Sunday morning, right when they opened, and being one of the first people there to get one. And I actually had to, there was actually a line outside that morning of Best Buy, and this was like a year after the system came out. There was still people getting in line to pick one up right when the store opened, because that was the only chance you could get one. If you weren't there then they weren't going to have any for the entire week, sitting out in stock. I was like, holy crap, I never really understood why they don't just, stock more, but, I know some people say, well, the reason they do that is to keep the demand up, but it's like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, the demand is there, whether you give them what they're asking for or not. Keeping them waiting is not keeping the demand up, it's just making them wait. It's not like making these people wait it's going to cause more people to start wanting one. Like, whoever wants one. Why not just put them all out in the first week and sell in the first week? And then you can be making interest on that money all this time. Eventually I did get one, but here's the thing. That morning, when I got my Wii, they didn't have any copies of Super Mario Galaxy. So I was able to get the Wii, but I wasn't able to get Super Mario Galaxy. So I thought, well, it doesn't make sense to get a Wii and not pick up a game for it, right? So I ended up picking up basically the only game that I could find that looked interesting. And it was a game called Tales of Symphonia 2, Dawn of the New World. Dawn of the New World, that's right, isn't it? That might be right, anyway. And, so I played that for a couple of, weeks, months, I don't know. Almost not played it for very long because I didn't get very far. I got like, I don't know, 20 hours in. So like I said, I got Tales of Symphonia. It was a cool game, but obviously because I hadn't played the first one, I didn't really completely get everything. So, and eventually I watched 900 Red Yoshi and Play Tennis 14 play the first one. And now I'm actually watching Miss A&L play the first one, which is cool. It's definitely pretty interesting. Interesting to see that after all this time again. Because it was fun watching Red Yoshi play it, but at the same time, like, I couldn't always follow the plot nearly as well because I was so busy listening to them. Or a lot of times I would just podcast those episodes and listen to them and hang out with them and just have them in the room there with me. That's got to be a horrible view. I wonder if I should like turn it around here and point the camera at myself. Well, I mean, at this point, I think I might just go ahead and stop the video there because it's the middle of 2007. Things are starting to get exciting again here. And JealousGuy was still going, but for the most part, we were closing it. I actually did have one video on JealousGuy of myself playing the Bomb Man stage. I was just experimenting around with emulators, and I just figured out how to record video game footage, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Because when I figured out how to do that, that's when I got the idea, okay, maybe I could make another channel for this stuff. Just make a separate channel for this stuff. Because one of the things that people were saying on YouTube about how to be successful at it is, if you're going to make a channel, make sure that you make a channel where people know what to expect. Like, don't start a channel about one thing and then change your mind, a year or several months later and decide, no, I want to do this instead now on this channel. You have to be consistent. Give people, figure out what you're going to do with that channel and do that thing, So that way when people subscribe to it, they know what to expect. And end of story, Well, I was in the middle of doing my JealousGuy channel. I didn't want to start suddenly doing video game footage on this channel all the time. So I thought, well, okay then. So I gotta, what I'll do is I'll just make another channel for video game footage. But then I thought, okay, well, I guess I need a name for myself then. Well, of course, back then, I didn't expect that any of this crazy, that it was going to end up being like a hugely popular channel. I just more or less made it as like a junk channel to put my junky video game footage up and eat my Junko cereal while I'm at it. Well, anyway, so in the process of picking a name, I didn't think very hard about it. I basically just came up with a name for my childhood, which was NintendoCapriSun. And although I've told the story a million times, since it is my life story, I guess I have to tell where the name came from. Back when I was in 8th grade, people used to call me Einstein because I was good at math and stuff. And I think I did mention that already. But I don't know why I did it, but one day I started like trying to come up with names for myself, names that I could call myself. You know, that view, that windshield is so dirty. I'll turn you back this way for a little bit here. I don't know how much you can see of me here. Hello. Yeah, so in 8th grade, I made a list of potential nicknames for myself. But I had one criteria for each of these nicknames, is they all had to have Nintendo in them. So I had this entire sheet of paper, 2 columns of names on this one sheet of paper. All of them just Nintendo, Nintendo this, Nintendo that. And I wish I still had it now, but I don't. The only 2 nicknames I can remember from it are the fire-breathing Nintendo 1-Up, which is probably what I would have considered the best name back then. I don't know. I probably could have even used that. I don't know. I should have used that today. If anybody wants to use that name, you're more than welcome to. For $500. Well, I'm just kidding. Knock yourself out. But the other name I remember from it was NintendoCapriSun. And back then, I remember thinking, when I would go over the list, I would get to that name and be like, oh my god, that's the worst name on this list. And the reason I thought it was the worst name on the list was because of how obvious it was that I was looking for stuff to, you know, looking around the house, and it's like, oh, I must have seen a Capri Sun there. I thought, oh, NintendoCapriSun. So I put that on the list. You look outside, there's a car driving by, Nintendo car, you know. Oh my gosh, there's a vase of flowers, Nintendo flowers. There's a cup of water, Nintendo cup of water. There's a Capri Sun, NintendoCapriSun. You know, that's how it happened. That's how I came up with that name. That was one of just so many names. But that was the one, and the only reason I remember that one is because it was like the worst one on the list. So, well, so that's why I decided to call this channel, because I figured it's just a junk channel anyway. Just make some crap video game footage, no big deal. Maybe I'll throw some commentary on it. Yeah, because at this point, I was starting to see Let's Play videos on YouTube. There weren't very many of them. There was like maybe 2 or 3 big names that were doing it at the time. There was Proton John was one of them. Ultra J-Man was the other one. I used to actually get those 2 guys confused. Because I guess like Proton John and then J-Man. I don't know, I got them mixed up. And there was a third one, I can't think, like Shenanigans. Was he one of them, or did he come up later? He might have not been there till later, I forget. But anyway, yeah. There was no, like, Minecraft or anything like that. These people were just playing, you know, Punch-Out or Super Mario Bros. 3. Or, obviously, in John's case, ROM hacks, but, you know, it was interesting stuff. So I kind of just got on board and was like, okay, here we go. And I started doing playthroughs of, you know, Super Mario Bros. 3 and Mega Man and whatever else. But the first video that I put up on NintendoCapriSun, I'm spitting all over the place. The first video I put up as NintendoCapriSun was a video of Super Mario Bros. 3 on December 27th of 2007. But at the time, man, my computer situation was kind of a mess. I had 2 computers at the time, one on one table and one on the other, because there were certain things I could only do with one or not with the other, and vice versa. And it was a mess, I will say. But yeah, so, jeez. Well, that was the start of NintendoCapriSun, right at the end of 2007. I was just starting to get back into video games. Finally got myself a Wii. Eventually I did get Mario Galaxy too, but I don't remember when that was. I never did finish it. To this day, I've never finished Mario Galaxy. I've never finished 100%ing it. I beat the game, but I never got all 120 stars. I've never done it. So at some point, I will have to do that. pretty sure by now I've seen all the galaxies in the game. Because there were some galaxies I had never seen, but now that I've watched Game Grumps and Nicola Nintendo and some others play through them. Anyway, well, so I think that's a good place to stop there. Once we get to the next video, I can start with, you know, the early days, how it all started and what I was thinking about and that kind of thing, because I don't know, there's not that many. I feel like 2008 onward, up until about like 2011, those years all kind of blend together too, because I always forget that I was still working at Pick and Save up until 2011. That doesn't feel right at all, but that's pretty much how it was. So, gas, exit 6. Nope, I don't need gas. And Claysville. Well, anyway, it looks like we're just about coming out of the mountains here, so maybe I can start to pick up some FM stations again here. So I'm sure couldn't pick them up for a while there. Anyway, so I hope you guys have been enjoying this. It's so weird. Just never thought that I just spin again. Damn it, you know. Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna go and turn you off, and I should stop saying I'm gonna turn you off and just turn you off. You know, I have less footage to bulk through later. All right, so take care, you guys, and see you again real soon. Ta-ta.